haven't been there yet. Let's try a different one. It's temporarily out of order. Oh, look, Micah, this is the train we get to get on.
We can get in the train, I think. Oh, no, we can't.
It's one of the
There's one up here.
Isn't that great? That's very coming train. Because there's one of the train
And like the rest of the carriages are going out the place. And there's a few bears here.
train entrance this way. We gotta keep going.
This is what they used to ride in those days. The antique cars, huh? Yeah. The trains that they used to ride.
Bad things about trains is that for a lower class, it's they could more comfortable.
Pardon me.
Now you're getting warmer. I can tell you this: in 1938, they were starting to build cars like this. Okay.
This is a car.
The war stopped it, though, didn't it? We had a big war, World War II. They quit building railroad cars and went to building tanks and airplanes. But the war was over in 1945. So I'm giving you all sorts of hints, aren't I?
About 48.
48. How about it? You're getting warm. You're getting very hot.
1956. 55. 1950.
Let's just leave it with Grandma.
Yep.
December 1949.
Wow.
Pretty good. Yeah, this car, if you were traveling in the 50s, this is what you would see. This particular car is really a neat car. First off, it was assigned to a nice train called the Overland. It ran between Chicago and San Francisco. So if you were sitting in this car, you were a good chance you were going to California. Or maybe Reno, Sacramento, Ogden. Who went to Ogden? But one thing about this particular car, it was for first class passengers only. In other words, if you were enjoying this car, you have to be in a sleeping car. You'll see a sleeping car in the next car. By the way, the car you just came from was a sleeping car. A lot of people don't figure that out. 1924. So this was a first class lounge car. Yes, young man.
On top of those little chairs, with those, they're kind of like those, but without the lights, and there was this little hole. Weren't those beds where you could pull down?
A pull down bed? Is that
What do you think that was? Was that where you put your luggage?
A bed?
It's a bed. That's called the upper berth. Like you have bunk beds at home, maybe?
Yes.
It's like a bunk bed. That's the upper bed, and those chairs that face each other, they slide, and that's your lower bed. That's your lower berth, upper berth.
Oh.
And how would you like? You're going to lay there and sleep in front of everybody. Ooh. Except we're going to give you a curtain. We're going to put curtains, and that's your privacy. And if you sneeze or snore, everybody's going to hear you, right? And we don't allow any burritos after 6 o'clock. No. But yeah, that was first class travel as well. 1924. The sleeping car, you're going to see the next one, 1956. It's the same era. The great thing about the next car is you've got doors that you can shut. And every private room has a bathroom, has a sink and running water. Now, when you first step into that car, you're going to see those same seats that face each other. There were a few spaces that were the upper and lower berth. But after that, the rest of the car is private rooms. So, a very nice way to travel. Now, one thing I don't think I've mentioned about this car that made it special from most cars, this car actually had a barber shop. So who is man enough to trust the barber with a straight razor to shave you in the morning on a moving train? Well, I understand he had a lot of Band-Aids, so don't worry. He's going to take care of you. But the reason there was a barber on this particular car, again, you're on a long distance train. You're going to California. So you're going to be on here at least one night. If you got on in Omaha, it was 39 hours to the Bay Area. Now, that's pretty fast if you think about it. Back in the 50s. Faster than what Amtrak across the street would do, to tell you the truth. Now, Amtrak takes you through beautiful Colorado. This took you across desolate Wyoming. And it moves fast. It's sort of like Nebraska. You want to get through Nebraska quickly. The nice thing about most of the trains that came out of Chicago, they came out in the afternoon. You went across Nebraska at night. You could sleep. I know, I'm being unfair to Nebraska. Beautiful Nebraska. Actually, what's beautiful about Nebraska are the people. Don't you agree? Yep. And I tell that to a lot of visitors that come through here. I says, Omaha's a great town. Most people don't even have a concept of, unless it's cows. The beautiful thing about Nebraska, Omaha particularly, it's got great people. Really hardworking, honest people that will help you. So, and that's really Nebraska too. But I got to make fun of it. Well, you know, I guess it still does it still have the tourist slogan, Nebraska? It's not for everybody. I think they do. They're getting ready to change it, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're getting ready to change.
I think they are. I think I read where it's about to change. But I think it got a lot of publicity. So, okay, what more about this car? The barbershop, built in 1949. It operated all the way up into 1971. And what happened in 1971? Amtrak. Amtrak took over from the railroads like the Union Pacific and the Burlington and the Santa Fe and what else? New York Central, Missouri Pacific, who I work for, and then I went to work for the UP when they bought the Missouri Pacific. That's what brought me to Omaha. So, but yeah, this was a very civilized way to travel in the 50s. The unfortunate thing, and I'm older than everybody in this car, but I can tell you.
No, you're not.
I bet I am.
Okay.
1940?
1938.
Wow! Congratulations! She looks good, doesn't she? So you're 85? Congratulations. She does look good, right?
You better go throw some salt over your
Wow.
shoulder.
Okay, well, do you remember what it was like in the 50s on the railroads? Every railroad had a streamlined train. Rail travel in the 50s and even the late 40s was the best in the world. We had all these brand new streamlined trains, dome cars, diesel powered, no more steam. It was a great time for the passenger train. The unfortunate thing is the public didn't realize it. And the people did not flock to those trains as the railroads expected. So I'm going to ask the question, particularly the younger guys. What was happening? Why weren't people traveling by rail again? after the war? What do you think?
Over here.
They probably did.
You got the answer.
Like cars were being invented.
He hit the nail on the head. You better save your money. He's going to Harvard. Yeah, most people will say airlines. No, you're absolutely right. After the war, people could now start buying automobiles. Automobiles were getting better built. Okay, and what did, I know you weren't around, what did President Eisenhower do that put the stake right in the heart of the passenger train? It goes with those cars you just told me about. You don't even remember Eisenhower, do you? Okay, the answer is interstate highways. You bet. So now you've got people buying automobiles. You now have these really neat highways. It'll get you anywhere you want to go. No more 2-lane highways. And so little by little, people are drifting from the rails. And then ultimately, we can talk about airlines. 1958, they introduced jets to the domestic market. And now it was really pretty simple to get on an airplane and go across the country in 4 to 5 hours nonstop. Whereas before, you were on a propeller, a DC-7 maybe, DC-6. So as hard as the railroads tried to give a good product, didn't work. And so long term, the end result was a beautiful car like this on a nice fast train might have been yanked. Because the only money they ever made off of this car, hauling it, would have been the bar. Because you didn't have to pay to sit in this car. So the end result was rail traffic spiraled down. The service got worse. I don't know if you rode trains in the 60s. They were not fun to ride. Service got worse. Trains came off, but they were still regulated. Unlike today's deregulated environment, to get a railroad to cancel a train, they had to go before the Interstate Commerce Commission. And it, just like so many things, it was political. And a congressman might say, no, you cannot take that train off. My mother rides it every year at Christmas time. Got to keep the train rolling. So, but the end result was the government and the railroads came together. 1971, Amtrak. And the railroads got rid of the passenger service. They said, hooray, hooray. They donated their best equipment, a little bit of money, and the freight railroad said, thank you very much. And today what we have the Union Pacific and the Burlington Northern hauling freight only. And Amtrak, such as it is, hauling the passengers. Now, all due respect, if you, who lives or has been on the East Coast? Anybody? There you go. Well, if you live on the East Coast, you know that Amtrak is viable and necessary, along with your commuter railroads like New Jersey Transit, because you guys back east have so many people living in a dense environment that the rails are necessary. In fact, New York to Washington, the vast market share between those two cities is Amtrak.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy to try to go out to LaGuardia and get there early, fly, get into National. Yes.
Yeah, we are from Chicago, and it's the same way in Chicago and all the suburbs. You
Yep.
know, we have what is called the Metro trains.
Yep, you have Metra.
Yeah, and that works so much for a lot of people who live in the outside of the city, to go into the city, and very smooth ride. Yeah.
Yeah, there are again, the East Coast, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, Richmond. Well, Amtrak does a good job, and you need them. Commuter areas around Chicago, you couldn't survive without Metra. Omaha, we could survive without the 2 trains a day that we get through here. But we're far different. You know, you look around and say, where's the next big city? Going west? Oh, it's Denver. So therein lies the difference. And a lot of people will say, oh, I wish we had the trains like they do in Europe or Asia. You can't compare the United States to Europe, where you've got population density every 20 or 30 kilometers, you've got another major city. and I've been in Europe a number of times, but you get on a train in Amsterdam and go to Paris, you're going to go through Rotterdam, Antwerp. You're going to go through Brussels, Lille. These are all cities over 1 million people, you know, and you're through them and you're in Paris in 3 hours, 2.5. But rail has has its place.
Yeah.
It's probably not in Omaha, other than freight. And I'm glad it was, because I worked for the UP, and that's what I did. I sold freight. So, okay, the next car you're going to see is a sleeping car, 1956. Again, big improvement. Come on in, folks. Big improvement over the 1924 version. Now, I'm going to leave you with a question. First class service. I mean, that was first class to be in a sleeping car. On this car, again, you could come in and have a libation. In the morning, you could go in and get a haircut and a shave. There was also a shower in the barber shop. So this was truly a very first class kind of way to travel. Now, there's one other thing you're going to see when you get to the sleeping car. When you turn the corner and you're going to go by all those private rooms, look along the wall of the corridor. There are little trap doors everywhere along there. You can open that trap door, and there's a space about that big. Back in the old days, we'd say it's big as a bread box. Nobody knows what a bread box is anymore. You remember bread boxes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so do I. Well, you and I are of the same age. We really are. Although 2 years, that's pretty good. You look good. So along the corridor, you've got these little trap doors. My question for you all is, what the devil are you going to put in that space? Why would you have a trap door? Okay, now this young man thinks he's got the answer, and the answer is...
luggage or like a sleeping capsule?
Okay, luggage. It'd have to be pretty small though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Carry on.
Yeah, well, that's wrong. Okay. Who wants to make another guess? What are you going to put in there?
Meals.
Excuse me?
A meal.
A meal. Food. Yeah, I've heard that answer too. How about drinks? Even better. Those are both wrong. Okay. All right. What were you going to say? You were going to say food or drinks. All right. Come on, guys. We got a lot more wrong answers. I can tell you. I know them all.
Maybe valuables that you're hiding or something.
Excuse me.
Valuables that you want.
Why would you put valuables? Because anybody.
Oh.
See, this is on the outside.
Oh, on the outside. Towels.
Towels. That's a pretty good one. I don't think I've ever had but yeah, towels. You would put towels in there, and I don't know what you do with them.
I don't know.
We don't have a shower in that car. But okay, come on in. We're trying to figure out what we would put in the little compartments in the next car you're going to see. How about trash? You know, trash.
Okay, so that they pick
Well,
from
that's
the
not
outside.
the answer either. I get one answer as a lot. Hats. And probably, something a little bit larger maybe. Hats. Wrong.